el sistema.
In a broader sense, it's the national system for child and youth orchestras and choirs. Playing and fighting are also the words engraved in the banner color badges that our children wear in all their concerts. Let's take a look at a few numbers. 350,000 children, youths, and adults directly covered by the program across Venezuela. 353 nuclei and modules, 346 pre-child, child and youth orchestras, 342 child and youth choirs, 365 chamber orchestras across the national territory, in cities, in distant villages, in islands and mountains, in the Amazon, in the plains, in the borders, and indigenous communities in neighborhoods. Venezuela today is filled with orchestras. Beyond the numbers, there's an underlying work of 37 uninterrupted years with a deep social orientation, a program directed to all and for all, but giving priority to the most vulnerable sectors of our society. Many different programs are conducted within the system. Let me just point out some of the a few of the most important ones. The special education program. It started off in 1995, and it has captured children, youths, and adults with visual, auditive, moving disabilities, autism, and Down syndrome. Currently, over 2,000 children belong or are covered by the program in 27 cities in the country. This is the pioneer team of the special education system. This is the White Hand Choir. And the academic penitentiary symphony orchestra program is a social program applied to prisons and conceived for both men and women deprived of their freedom, and which are integrated back to society through the practice and enjoyment of music, therefore obtaining a new personality and reinforcing their self-esteem, contributing with their own effort to their reintegration back to society. In this image, we see the orchestra of the Yari penitentiary plant. It is important for us to point out that one of the most important and difficult areas in opening this is teaching string instruments to adults. We didn't have any experience in this, and a very interesting thing happened. Academic centers of instrument building. Many of these were founded in 1982 to train professionals in the manufacturing, maintenance, and repair of symphonic and popular musical instruments. There are 20 offices of this program, which is very important for us because they take care of maintaining all these instruments used in all these orchestras in the system. There is no contradiction between musical quality or quantity in the system. Excellence is present in all stages of musical education and in all programs. The system has an integrated academic structure that supports its participants, allowing them to develop their musical skills to the maximum. We train students not only from Venezuela, but from the rest of Latin America with the highest performance standards, and we coordinate exchanges with international conductors and soloists. In our images here, we see 6 Latin American academies.
los centros de formación.
Now let's talk about the education centers.
Dotar de estructuras modernas, funcionales y
Providing
de alta
modern and
tecnología
functional
que
structures
acompañen las diversas iniciativas
to
sociales y
support the different
artísticas
social and
que
artistic
desarrolla el
initiatives
sistema
developed
han
by the
constituido y
system
constituyen una prioridad cardinal.
are
El Centro
fundamental, or is a
de
fundamental
Acción
priority.
Social por la Música entró en
The
operaciones
social
en el
action for
2009
music, or the
con
Center
un área
for
de
Social Action in favor
14.750
of
metros
music
cuadrados,
started off in
cuenta con más de 100
1979,
locaciones definidas,
over
distribuidas en áreas
100 different
de instrucción
locations
musical,
in different
salas de
areas
ensayos,
for
bibliotecas,
music
sala de
teaching,
conciertos y
rehearsal
teatro,
rooms,
sala de
concert
música de
halls,
cámara, talleres para la
theaters,
fabricación de
chamber
instrumentos
music
musicales,
rooms,
cabinas de
workshops
grabación,
for
etc.
manufacturing
Sede de la
instruments,
Orquesta Simón
recording
Bolívar y del
booths,
Centro
etc.
Nacional Audiovisual.
And the headquarters of the Simón Bolívar
6
Orchestra.
centros adicionales a este
And
que estamos viendo
6 more
serán construidos
centers
en los
will
próximos
be
años
built in the
en el
oncoming
interior del
years
país.
in
El Centro
other
Académico
cities
Infantil de
across the
Montalbán,
country.
el
The
cual fundé y
Montalban
desarrollé,
Child Academic
constituye el
Center,
centro de
which
formación
I
infantil
founded,
más avanzado en
is
Venezuela,
the most
con cursos
advanced
que tienen a los niños
child
desde los 2
learning
años de edad.
facility, including
En él se
children
desarrollan
starting at
programas de
age
investigación en las
2,
técnicas y recursos
where
pedagógicos aplicados a la
research
enseñanza musical
programs applied
a
to
muy
music
temprana edad.
learning are applied
El
since a
Conservatorio
very
Simón
early
Bolívar
age.
es el
The
decano de
Simón
la formación
Bolivar
musical
Music
en el
Conservatory
sistema venezolano,
is the
con un
ruler of
método
music
ajustado a las
training
nuevas
in the
realidades
Venezuelan
académicas
system,
que
with
impone
a
el sistema.
system adapted to the new academic realities.
Hasta ahora hemos hablado a grandes rasgos
So far,
de los
I've given you a
núcleos y huesos
few brush
que conforman
strokes
el programa,
on the
pero sería
muscle and
imposible tener una
skeleton
imagen
of the
completa
program.
sin
But
hablar de
the
su
image would
creador
not be
y
complete
fundador,
without speaking of its
el
creator
maestro José
and
Antonio Abreu.
founder, Maestro José Antonio Abreu.
Una voluntad de acero y una fe inquebrantable en la niñez
Um,
y la juventud venezolana permitieron al maestro José
A
Antonio
total
Abreu
faith in our youth
desarrollar el programa
allowed
cultural,
Maestro
artístico
Jose
y social
Antonio to
de mayor
develop the
trascendencia en
the
Venezuela y
most
América Latina.
transcendent artistic
Modelo
program
e
in Venezuela and
inspiración
Latin
para otros
America,
programas en más de 40
and a
países
model for
que hoy
inspiration
hacen
for over
suya
40
la visión
countries
del
that are
maestro.
now adopting his
José
vision.
Antonio Abreu
Jose
ha
Antonio
emprendido una
Abreu
cruzada inagotable y
started
futurista para
off
salvar de
an
la pobreza
endless
espiritual y material
crusade to save
a miles de
children
niños
from
y
material
jóvenes en
and
mi país
spiritual
y en el mundo.
poverty in
Luchador
my country
infatigable
and
por la
the world, a
democratización y
tireless fighter
masificación
for
del
the
arte musical,
democratization and
por el
massification of
sistema,
art,
por su justo y cabal reconocimiento nacional e
and
internacional
for
como programa
the
social prioritario
recognition
para la capacitación de las
or
generaciones futuras,
recognized as a priority
instrumento de
program
desarrollo moral, intelectual y
in the
afectivo de
country
todos los
and
venezolanos.
abroad as a
Nos decía el
moral
maestro
support
en una
for
de las tantas
Venezuelans in the country and abroad.
ensayos que realizábamos con él.
And one of the many
Él nos
rehearsals we
decía
had
algo
with
que en ese
him,
momento
I
nosotros no
remember
podíamos
him
comprender.
saying something that
Ya
at the
decía en
time we could not
1975
understand. This was back
y
in
me gustaría citarlo.
1975, and I would like to
La
quote
misión
what
del
he
arte
said. The
tiene que
mission
trascender
of
los valores
art
estéticos.
must transcend aesthetic
El arte
values.
tiene que ser motor
Art
para la
has to
capacitación,
be the
el
driver
rescate,
for
la inclusión de los
training,
ciudadanos,
rescuing,
sea
and
cual fuere su
including
nivel
citizens,
social,
whatever their
educativo y
social,
económico. Esa es la
educational,
visión
or
macro
economic level. That's
que ha,
the
que ha,
macro
que
vision
ha
that has
dirigido la acción del
guided
sistema a lo largo de
the
todos estos
system
37 años.
actions throughout these
Hasta aquí
37
damos
years.
una breve panorámica
Well, so far,
de,
like I said, this is just a
del
few
sistema
brush
y
strokes
abordo ahora a
on the
continuación
system.
el otro punto
Let me
que me
now
gustaría
go
desarrollar,
deeper
que es el de
into
la Sinfónica
one
Nacional
specific
Infantil de
aspect,
Venezuela.
the National Child
Eh,
Symphonic
me gustaría
Orchestra.
se
I
requirieron
hope this is as
4.000
exciting for
audiciones
you as it is for me. It took 4,000
para seleccionar a
auditions to
357
pick
niños que están interpretando.
357 children playing in that orchestra you just saw.
Quiero contar el trabajo que significó realizar
Well, you have
todas estas
no idea how
audiciones
much work was
en la base
involved
del
in all
sistema.
these auditions
Y se han
and
totalizado
within the
aproximadamente
system
para la construcción de esta orquesta.
for
Fueron 4.100
creating this orchestra. 4,000 auditions that year, 2,000 the year before. The National Child Symphonic Orchestra
Fue la idea original del maestro
was
José Antonio
originally,
Abreu
like I
en
said, the idea of
1975.
Jose Antonio Abreu in
En su momento,
1975, and
resumen
at the
y
time,
demostración de
it
20
was
años
a
de
demonstration
experiencia en la
of
metodología del
20
sistema
years of
aplicada a la
experience in the
formación musical,
methodology of the system
en
applied to
particular
music training,
a los niños de
particularly
7
to
y 15 años de
children
edad.
ages
La
7 to
Sinfónica Nacional
15.
Infantil de Venezuela
The Venezuela
validó
National
nuevamente el modelo educativo
Child
y la
Symphonic
propuesta
Orchestra
musical.
created a new
Corría el año de 1995,
education system. In
cuando la Sinfónica
1995,
Nacional Infantil
the National Child Symphonic Orchestra finally had their international debut in the UN Hall of New York. And that's where the spectacular tour of children playing Tchaikovsky, Bach, Rossini, and Verdi started. The members of this child orchestra actually didn't sit on their chairs. They would climb on them with their little feet dangling from there to fill the most demanding concert halls with excitement. Perhaps I could mention the Amazonas Theater in Manaus, the Fine Arts Palace in Mexico, the Villalobos Hall of the National Theater, the UNESCO Hall in Paris, the Giuseppe Verdi Hall in Milan, Giuseppe Verdi Theater in Naples, the City Hall of Fuji Theater, and the Philharmonic Hall of the Philharmonic Orchestra of Berlin. And this was their first concertino, Gustavo Dudamel. He was actually a concertino in our orchestra, and then it's a titular conductor that sent the orchestra into international protagonism. The Youth Symphonic Orchestra of Venezuela was the last stage in the learning program of the two most important stars in our system, our young conductor and the Simón Bolívar Youth Symphonic Orchestra. We have seen them at the proms concerts. It is very important for us in Venezuela to understand that social development and artistic development go hand in hand. This is a very important conviction for us. We firmly believe that people's lives can change. We believe that we can create citizens, and we believe in the power of music to succeed in this effort. And we believe that orchestras and choirs are the ideal environment to develop this learning process. So we have applied it, and we know what we're saying. The world has acknowledged Venezuela's work. Today, we face the challenge of multiplying this program into 500,000 children, short term, and midterm, in 10 years, to 1 million children across the country. In Venezuela, art, particularly music, is a citizen's right. So it shouldn't come as a surprise to see these results we're obtaining in all different fronts. And let me finish by paraphrasing Maestro José Antonio Abreu. From the bottom of our heart, we expect to devote the rest of our existence to the dream of a new musical art, which goes beyond its aesthetic dimension and shines as the glorious symbol of sublime human development and the rebirth of a moral awareness, a temple of beauty and truth, and a paradise of love and hope for all children in the world. These were his words when he received the Polar Award. Thank you very much.